continuación a presentar uno a uno a todos los protagonistas de este gran evento. Vamos allá. Empezamos presentando Swiss Black Heights, compuesto por Martin Pérez, Rafael Strell, Yannick Rosa y Darío Moyenswanda. Y seguimos presentando a continuación a la escuadra One, compuesto por Cody Ibanez, Alex Campbell, Ivan Turner y Andy Manakilian. Y a continuación presentamos al conjunto Wild Pro. Ellos son Daniel Pachón, Alex Ramora, Adam Blackburn y Slobo Daral. Seguimos presentando el Carver Germany. Ellos son Sebastián Valdez, Lucas Wager, Angelo Pérez y Martin Maimon. Y a continuación, el conjunto Spain Drone Prix. Ellos son Adrián López Hernández, Roberto Gómez, Carlos Gómez Carril y Arturo Dinero. Y seguimos con el conjunto de la República Checa, Rotorama. Ellos son Jakub Toman, David Escobar, Lucas Delfonsky y Jan Potava. Y a continuación presentamos a Raiden Bambi. Ellos son Junichi Goto, Axel Mario Christopher Leighton, Kazuma.
Another stop on an incredible world tour of drone racing. We find ourselves from Germany 12 days ago into Madrid, into Spain. It is a fantastic place, an absolutely beautiful sight has awaited us.
Fuerte aplauso para todos los componentes de esta Drone Champions League. Vamos allá por el Drone Prix de Madrid. Que empiece el espectáculo. Gracias a todos. Hábiles pilotos. Gracias, Madrid.
So Madrid awaits us for our next stop of the Drone Champions League. An incredible few hours of racing awaits you with us here in Madrid. An absolutely beautiful city, the capital of Spain, the third largest city in the European Union. And we find ourselves, of all the beautiful places that we could be in Madrid, we are in an 87-year-old bull ring. Plaza de Toro de las Ventas, the most prestigious bullfighting ring in the world. Bullfighting still goes on here every Sunday. We, however, have got in the way for this week. There are other events that take place here. We have seen concerts from the likes of the Beatles, AC/DC, and Kylie Minogue. They've all happened here. The Davis Cup has had tennis matches right here in this bull ring as well. We've brought this brand new, newest even of sports to the sandy and stony and 87-year-old historic venue of Las Ventas. I am Matt Andrews. Next to me is Martijn de Kemp, my co-host and analyst for the season. We had fun 12 days ago, Martijn, when we were in the middle of the 1972 Olympic Park in Munich, and that was a great season opener.
Oh yeah. It was windy. It was a lot colder than here. I think we're improving. The weather is great, right?
Are we improving? The pilots are certainly improving, and I think that's the main thing. It's drone racing, ladies and gentlemen. It's the world's biggest team drone racing series. The best pilots in the world, and a team series, as I say. 8 teams of 4 will be racing in front of you very, very shortly indeed. Flying their copters, all of which have to fit within our certain parameters of the Drone Champions League, but they can change them all, but they can make them all a little bit different. So we've seen interesting ingenuity, Martijn, in our first races in Munich, and now here in Madrid, we're seeing some teams change things up again.
Oh yeah, definitely. We see almost all the teams making their drones lighter, making them faster, making them more stronger. So I think we're ready for a great evening of awesome racing.
One of our teams who you'll remember from 2 weekends ago if you joined us with our Munich races, one of the new teams at DCL, Quad Force One, representing the US. I think you're going to see a lot of them today. Let's introduce you, though, to a pilot who you didn't see in Munich, Corey Ibanez, who's here to tell you how he sets up his drones, not for flying around for photography, but for proper racing.
Hey guys, my name is Corey. I'm a pilot for Quad Force One, and this is the setup we're going to be running here in Madrid. So here we have the racing drone. We have 2 cameras. We have a smaller camera here on the front, which is for the pilot's view. We have a larger camera for the HD recording. We have the brains inside, protected by canopy here. And we have 4 motors, which drive the quad using propellers, which push it through the air. Propeller selection is really important for racing drone. It's similar to tire selection for a car. A wider tire is going to be heavier, but it's going to have a lot better handling in the corners. We've gone for a propeller that has better handling, but might not be as fast in the straights, but we think it's going to help us out here. So batteries are unique. It's unlike a car, where a car has full power until you run out of gas and your car sputters to a stop. A battery, however, as you drain the battery down, the quad loses power. And that's something we have to think about and accommodate for when we race, because you don't want to go into a corner thinking you have a lot of power, but your battery is low, and it'll cause you to crash and be off your line and really slow you down. So this is a cell checker, and this tells us whether or not our battery is full or not. Here we have 15.4 volts. Don't want to fly on this, not a full battery. So that's it for the setup, guys. My name is Corey. I'm flying for Quad Force One, and I need to head out and start racing.
Thank you, Corey, from Quad Force One. So, yeah, the American team have got some exciting stuff to show you today. We'll bring you the qualifying results shortly and explain why. But there are amazing teams representing the whole world of drone racing with us. You met a couple in Munich. Let's introduce you to some more. Rotorama from the Czech Republic and the China Dragons.
We are Team China Dragons. This is Ken. He's scary fast. He's running. He speaks 3 languages, so he gets 3 times the gold.
This is Bobo. He sleeps like a panda, but he flies like a falcon.
I am Hamsha, team captain of China Dragons. We are new to DCL, but we are ready to compete against all the best teams here in Madrid. Are you ready?
China Dragons!
We are Team Rotorama.
So, this is Lucas, and he likes the combination of kebab and drone racing.
So this is Jan, and he knows how to crash drones and have fun about it.
Here's David, and he is the youngest pilot from our team and quite stable.
So, I'm Jakub Toman. I'm the team captain of Rotorama. Last time in Munich, we took the first place on the first race, and we will try to repeat that here in Madrid. Enjoy the race.
Yeah, we have Not only brilliant pilots here in the Drone Champions League, but really fun guys with so much respect for each other as well. Teams who are always willing to lend a hand. Teams who've lent drones to each other in the past as well. When we were out in Munich, Quad Force 1, mentioning them again, they landed at Munich and a load of their drones didn't get there. So ironically, for a flying sport, they had trouble actually flying in. They ended up borrowing stuff, like people lent them kit so that they could compete. Nobody here is going to say, well, tough, you're out of this thing. So that's some of China Dragons and Rotorama that you've seen. Martijn, 87-year-old bullring, oozing history from all of the stones all around us. It's an incredible place to fly.
It is absolutely amazing. Yeah, we're flying around the ring.
Yeah, we've turned it around. Normally, of course, 24,000 spectators would sit on the seats around the outside and watch bullfighting in the middle, or Kylie, if you're into that sort of thing. I am. But here we've turned it all around. We've invited people from Madrid to come and join us in the middle. There's our pilots area you see on screen. That's our sort of pits, if you like, and people can get up close and personal, see and chat with the pilots and watch them fixing drones. Should they need to fix them, they will. So yeah, we've put all the audience in the middle and we are racing around the outside. And it's an unusual thing we do here at the Drone Champions League, which is why we are the best drone racing series in the world. Earlier today, qualifying took place. We take the best collective cumulative times for each pilot. We add them together and that makes a qualifying time for their team. Then we rank the teams from 1st to 9th, and 9th is already done for the day. 1st to 8th race each other in the quarterfinals. 1st will race 8th, 4th will race 5th, and so on. The winners of each will go to the semis. The winners of those 2 semi-finals will race each other in our grand final later on tonight. And they're all racing for points for the season. This is a long season, a world tour. And every one of those rounds, quarters, semis, and finals all consist of 5 heats. 4 single heats where one pilot will race one of their opposition at a time. And then the big heats where you will see 8 drones in the air at the same time. You'll never see that anywhere else. If you win a single heat against one of your opposition, you'll get a point for that. So you could be 4-0 up after the single heats. But when it's big heat time, everything can change. Win the big heat, and you'll collect 1 point for your team. But if you can come in first and a teammate follows you into our crash gate second, then you'll get 2 points. If you are 3-1 down coming into this big heat, but you get first, second, and third, 3 more points to you. So 4-3 overall will see you through to the next round. And if you can clean sweep the opposition, which has only ever been done once in DCL history, 4 points will be all yours, and that can change anything and everything. That's how we do it here at the Drone Champions League. Altogether tonight, we have 35 races for you. Then we will come back tomorrow, and then at 9 p.m. we'll do it all again. We'll do qualifying during the day, and then we'll go live with quarters, semis, and a grand final in a whole extra Drone Prix that stands alone in its own right. So pilots tomorrow will have had even more experience than they've had today.
Yep, yeah, and that definitely enables them to really get a feel of the track. And yeah, most of the time in these 2 days events, the second day we're going to have a little bit faster times than the first day.
But they are in good shape today, these pilots, and keeping a watchful eye over them is Lucas Baumann, who is our chief judge. He's on our stage right in the center of this bullring. That's where the 2 teams of pilots will race each other at a time. We have a real rule set, of course. This is a professional sport, so there are protests that they can lodge if they feel like maybe they've had a video issue and that means that they want a rerun. Then all of that gets investigated by Lucas Baumann and a big team behind the scenes of spotters and runners to collect drones and a whole load of people. We couldn't possibly bring you something as challenging as a drone race in a bullring, well, without them. And we've talked about this bullring, but we really need to show you what we've turned it into. We're going to fly around our course right now. Martijn, what a course it is.
Yep, here we go. This is where we start from. We see pilots taking the first DCL gate and here hitting a hard 180 around the 2 yellow pylons, taking a left on the second one, and then go straight as fast as possible towards the Breitling gate. Once they are there, they have to notice that there's a net above them, as you can see there, but also there's a net below them, so it's a tricky part. They stay on the right side of the track here. and then make another hard 180 through the DCL gates.
You can see a drone in front of this one, actually. This was shot earlier on today. We're showing it to you in slow motion. When the pilots fly this for real, you'll see it's a lot quicker than this.
Yep, and through this DCL gate, and then the next DCL gate is the timing gate. When 3 laps are done, they have to turn to the left and ultimately hit the Red Bull finish gate.
Crash gate.
Crash gate,
Call
which we see right here. Very appropriate, huh?
Yeah, now, qualifying happened earlier. 9 teams are here in Madrid. You won't be seeing today Raiden Racing, who were 9th in qualifying after struggling to get some lap times in. They made it to finals in Munich. They turned up all the way from Japan and had a huge impact on our first location of the season 12 days ago. They aren't featuring today, but as I mentioned, qualifying will happen again tomorrow. We might see them in tomorrow's racing. First to 8th, though, are in front of you, and Quad Force 1 from America are the #1 seeds today. They will be racing against Wild Prop in our first quarterfinal. After that, Rotorama from the Czech Republic will race the Air Carvers Germany. China Dragons face Swiss Black Kites, and Next Place Racing are against Spain Drone Team in our 4th quarterfinal. But we'll get to quarterfinal #1 with these gentlemen. Welcome to our stage, the #1 seed today on the 4th of July, Quad Force 1. Now, these guys had a very interesting experience in Munich. Came here wanting to get a win, very capable of it, as we saw in Munich. They want to do it particularly today, but their opposition are some young pilots who made real stars of themselves and even more fans than they already had in Munich. Already getting a lot of support from the audience here in Las Ventas. They are Wild Prop. Oh, he's caught him out. Adam Blackburn is duping out Shlomo with a fake fist bump. Are we going to get some flossing? They already have a lot of fans, but they picked up even more, as I say, in Munich. These are no novelty act, ladies and gentlemen. These are no, let's bring some kids along for some fun. They are deadly, but today they are 8th in qualifying. So a tricky task ahead of them in the shape of Quad Force 1, who is going to first begin with Evan Turner, 15-year-old pilot, heads up FPV, he's known as, from the United States, and he's going to be against Danny Pachon, who wasn't with us in Munich, but raced a few times in our 2017 season with an XPR Free Flow. There he is. He's here in his home country. 30-year-old Spanish pilot, so twice the age of Evan Turner. 2 Evan Turners. He probably isn't quite 2 Evan Turners. Evan Turner rocked it all over Munich. He didn't do quite so well in qualifying today, but he's done well enough to help his team Quad Force 1 be the #1 seed here. They went out of their first quarterfinal in Munich 5-0 to the world champions. So they turned up the next day and won their quarterfinal 5-0, went all the way to the grand final and put up a fight against the world champions again there. Didn't win it, but did incredibly well to come second.
Oh, they definitely did. And today they're coming in hot because they took home in qualifying. They took the first qualifier seat. They took the 3rd, the 5th, and the 12th.
It's brilliant work by Quad Force 1, and they want to win it today. It's the 4th of July. They are ready to be American champions, DCL champions. Let's find out with Turner in blue against Danny Pachon in the white drone, and Pachon is high, and Turner is behind him going into our first gate as we see a look at our first chicane of the Las Ventas circuit. It's Pachon out in front. He goes high around that one, and here's our second chicane. A 180 switchback through that DCL gate. Pachon having to twitch to get through it. Turner's caught him. Pachon left the door open there by being so slow through that gate. He's caught him, he's in front of him, but Pachon is not leaving this one to Turner. Turner pulls away again on lap #2. Turner in the lead. Pachon clips the top of a pylon. That's probably going to get investigated, and Pachon is through that gate just ahead of Turner. Turner now takes him again as they start lap #3 into our chicane. Pachon goes a bit wilder. He's only 1600ths of a second behind Turner, who is keeping a lead, but Pachon is closing it on every one of those braking turns. Turner comes underneath. Pachon now a second behind him. Turner completes, goes around, and then we'll bring it into our crash gate right now. And the first point of the day is Quad Force 1. That is how you open a day's racing.
Exactly, exactly. Man, we need some more of this today. That was a great opener, great opener. Danny Pacha has been practicing hard to get here. He was part of DCL last year. Very excited to make his return.
There is your first look at our new finish. That's the Red Bull Crash Gate here in Las Ventas. There is Evan Turner hitting it hard, and Danny Pachon, when he crossed the line. He crossed the line, but he didn't stay in there. That's okay. That's still crossing the line. He'll collect a finisher point for that, which may help, will help indeed, if it gets to be a... he's been given a did not finish. Oh, Danny, not fully over the line after all. Went in the narrow bit at the bottom of the gate, and it caught him out. What the pilots, of course, are after are heat points. That's what's going to see you through to the next round. But if a quarterfinal ends with an equal draw on heat points, finisher points are how we choose who goes through next. Alex Campbell for Quad Force 1, the Chief, up against 12-year-old home favorite Alex Zamora of Spain. And Zamora away and Campbell behind him. And there's not much to call between these two pilots except that Alex Zamora, he's going to hate the fact that he's here in Madrid, in Spain, and is down. If he can recover his drone, if he can get it back in the air, then he can continue in this race. Turtle mode is allowed, but it doesn't seem to be happening for him. Martijn, it looks like this one is all the Chiefs.
Yep, it is. Yeah, Alex Campbell got the sign from the chief judge to finish it. Taking home an easy finisher point for Quad Force 1, which puts them on 2-0 right now. The wild prop has to do some work. Let's go through that crash slow-mo. This is where we see him cutting the corner a little bit wide. And actually this track is so tricky because all of the corners that they have to take are on a slope. And it's very hard for the pilots to navigate through those.
Corey Ibanez, welcome to DCL. You saw him on a video earlier on. He wasn't with us in Munich, but he races for Quad Force 1 against 10-year-old Adam FPV Kid. That's 10-year-old Adam Blackburn. That's 10-year-old superstar, if you remember him from last year. Corey Ibanez, first in the multi-GP NorCal regional final, second in the Sebring team race, second in the Clash of Drones in Las Vegas. Adam Blackburn, he can win single heats. He can win big heats. And he tore it up around Munich. He was very fast indeed. He's in the white drone on the right of your picture against Corey Ibanez, who will be in the blue one. I say in them. Yeah, they're actually in them. These drones are enormous and they carry pilots. Didn't you realize? And of course they're racing FPV. Look, the flags are out already. Corey and Adam Blackburn. Drones are just being recovered from us here in Las Ventas, but 10 seconds until our next race. There's our starting blocks on the seats of Las Ventas. And here we go, Ibanez against Blackburn. Slightly better start for Ibanez. Blackburn, no, won't worry about that as he goes past him, around him, underneath him, and into the leads. And into something hard. Leaving Ibanez the Breitling gate. And around the high part of our first chicane on the course. We come out of that in time of 15.88. Halfway around our circuit, now goes through this and into our second chicane. And he's being told he can wrap it up. Blackburn did not feature in that. He'll be gutted. What happened to him?
Yeah, he went guns blazing towards the first hard 180 pylon. And on top of the, this is where we see it actually. He's going through the first gate, absolutely guns blazing, making the hard 180 turn, and then boom, hitting the steel.
3-0 then to Quad Force 1.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. Actually, after Munich, the team decided to stay for a while in Europe.
Yeah.
They've been around for 2 weeks, doing lots of practice and preparation. The drones that didn't make it here eventually got here.
Yep. 10 seconds. New to the DCL, Shlomo Dalal, our first ever Israeli pilot. Welcome, Shlomo. His opposition, Andy Marakilian, the #1 in qualifying today. Marakilian destroyed this track in qualifying. Dalal doesn't care. Dalal is down Terrible start across the board for some of the pilots of Wildprop, handing heat points, hand over fist to Quad Force One, who are a deadly threat to all the teams who are here. Wildprop are not a team to be underestimated. They did so well for their first races in Munich, and I don't say that with any hint of patronizing that it was a really young team. I mean, here, they're quite young, with the gentle exception of Danny Pachon, but like in Munich, we had a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, and 2 12-year-olds, and they were brilliant. They are pilots we know so well. This is not what we expect from Wildprop.
Yeah, let's take you through what happened here. Again, this slopey track is so hard to practice on. You see them trying to cut the corner, but on the pilot's behalf, there was just a tiny mistake.
He hit that handrail, didn't he, over one of the entrances?
Yeah, he did. He did. But it's just impossible for pilots to come in prepared on a track like this.
Yep, true, but of course everybody's had the same practice. There's never anything unfair in the DCL. Nobody gets, you know, additional time on track instead of anybody else. 4-0 to Quad Force One. And 4 non-finishes as well for Wildprop. So big heat time. If you're new to the DCL, as I mentioned earlier, we have this unique format and we bring you this unique race. The big heat, you'll get every round where every pilot will fly. If they've just crashed, they can have between 3 and 5 drones with them at a race meet. So they do have more drones, and in between the final, between this, you know, whoever wins this quarterfinal, before their semi-final, they are welcome to try and fix anything they've got. For this big heat, they've all got more drones that they can get on the blocks and get ready to fly. And Wildprop need 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and they won't be confident of taking that after those performances.
I don't think so. No, no. But again, in racing, anything is possible.
True. Never give up. Absolutely never give up. So Quad Force One just need 1 pilot to the front. 1 point will wrap this thing up. Wildprop need 4 points by coming in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Then it'll be equal on heat points. Regrettably, I don't think if that happens, there's enough finisher points in the back pocket from qualifying and practice for Wildprop to progress, but we'll find out. Let's see if they get there first. These 4 pilots have got to demolish Quad Force One. What a Quad Force One bites the dust for him by wrapping itself around its own starting block. And one of Wildprop goes up into the roof. Wildprop has Pachon currently out in front, surrounded by Ibanez, Turner and Campbell. Pachon dropping down, Blackburn dropping out. Campbell and Turner up front now. Danny Pachon still fighting it out with him. He wants to get at least 1 heat point for his team, 1 finisher point for him on his record for the season. He's 3/5 of a second behind Turner, but there's not a lot here now, and Wildprop clipping the DCL gate on the bottom there, possibly getting into trouble. Still in the air though, and Pachon is fighting this thing out and not letting it lie. He comes around with a brilliant turn by Campbell, nearly keeps the lead from him. Pachon's in the lead now. Campbell wants to take him down. It'll be a dead race for the crash gate. Pachon is in! To the delight of the crowds. Redeeming something of the otherwise slightly disappointed Wildprop team. Quad Force One will still nevertheless go to the semi-finals. 4-1 over Wildprop, but a really good finish by Danny Pachon for his team.
Yeah, that was some racing. And that was the revenge he was looking for. Very tight racing. Yeah, and a happy Quad Force One there. They should be getting ready for semi-finals, huh?
They are definitely through to the semi-finals. 4-1, Quad Force One. And Wildprop, that's the end of their racing today. But tomorrow, more practice, more qualifying. And Wildprop came into this race here 8th in qualifying. So, yeah, they can definitely do better than that. They know they can. I actually do very much expect that they will. They'll shake this off and come back stronger tomorrow. Our champions, though, at this quarterfinal, Quad Force One, who couldn't be in more confident spirits when we even started today, let alone after qualifying and qualifying in 1st seed. They're a huge threat today. We will have a quick chat with Corey Ibanez, who's going to be on our stage, and we'll have a quick chat with him about what he's managed to do there with Quad Force One. while our runners and spotters and everybody else gets the track ready. Let's chat with Corey Ibanez. Corey, congratulations to you and Quad Force One. If there's a day you want to win this thing, it really is today.
It is. We definitely have the encouragement from this day being important to us, as a country.
A really strong performance from you, and we saw good racing from you during Munich as well. But the first in qualifying today, you've got everything you need to come out and wave an American flag at the end of racing.
Yeah, after qualifying, we felt a lot more comfortable. It's great to go into the first race with a lot of confidence. It helps a lot, and I think that showed in this race a lot.
You guys adjusted to this track very quickly. Your qualifying results were brilliant. That's how you got first seed today. What is it about this track that you think appeals and works for you as a team?
We're definitely used to tracks where we keep the throttle on. We're used to the track, being very, very high speed, and a lot of us don't like to fly slow. We like to fly fast the entire time, and we're just enjoying it. We're having fun out there, and that, keeps us relaxed and focused and able to hold our lines and not, make any mistakes.
And one more question for you. You're going to face the winner of our next quarterfinal, which is Rotorama or Air Carvers Germany. Who would you like to see in the semis?
It's a tough one. All the competition here is really, really, really steep. It's hard to say, honestly. Everyone here.
Do you have a preference of who you'd like to race?
I guess, I don't know if we've raced Germany directly yet, so just, for the fun of racing everybody, might as well. Yeah, let's do it.
Well, let's see what happens. Congratulations, Quad Force One, through to the semi-finals. Corey Ibanez there and his team. So, yeah, semi-finals await them, but our second quarterfinal awaits us. We'll bring you that soon. There you go. There's a nice shot of Las Ventas. There's Las Ventas and it's sunshine, and here we are for our next teams. Winners of the first Drone Prix of the year, third in the DCL Championship of 2017. Welcome to the stage, Rotorama. On our stage, Air Carvers Germany, who went out of both quarterfinals of our two races in Munich in front of a home audience as well. That was tough for them, and some of those pilots you'll know well from last year's racing. We have Angelo Feschler, Malte Maibaum, who's new this year, Sebastian Brandes, and Lucas Wahl. Feschler, Brandes, and Wahl, of course, raced as Fly Duino last year. Opposite them, Rotorama, who we saw great racing from throughout 2017. Our first single heat of this, it's Rotorama in red and Air Carvers Germany in green, will be between Jan Votava, who won 3 of his 4 single heats in Munich. So although they didn't progress, he pulled his weight. 3 of his 4 single heats. That's Jan Votava, and his opponent, Angelo Feschler of Germany, who won 1 out of 2. Rotorama made it all the way to the final on the first day and then went out in the quarterfinals of the second day, and Votava was very instrumental in getting those wins for him.
Yeah. Over the course of the race in Munich, Angelo Feschler, he improved a lot. And the first day he was the last qualifying member of his team. The second day he was first. This man has a lot of potential.
So,
10 seconds countdown.
As you can see, Rotorama being the higher seed. Starting on the left of your picture with the red drone, and Angelo Feschler will be racing in green. And Feschler with a better start. Votava, though, doesn't care and takes the lead from him. Round the pylon and through the DCL gate quickly with just over half a second between them already. On board with Feschler, who's got Votava disappearing away from him. It is 9:30 p.m. here in Madrid. This track will get darker and darker, obviously, as we go through today's racing. And Feschler is in all sorts of trouble. He's being flagged up to be reviewed for possibly going on a wrong flight. That means he might have missed that pylon turn. He seemed to go back and make sure he got it. That'll be why he's 1.62 seconds behind Votava, who is clearly out in front, although Felschler looks like that gap is somewhat diminished. He took a second back out of him. Felschler thinks, well, I did get that turn and I want to take this race, and sticks with Votava, who's pulled away a little bit, but Felschler's not giving up on him. Votava coming into our second chicane of the lap, pulls it right down, goes through the DCL closed air gate, and comes around to start up. Comes around DCL here, and twitches a little bit to find the crash gate, but find it he does. Felschler comes in now in a really good, fast finishing turn. That crash gate is not easy to score in. Pilots are doing very well on entry, if you forget about the one that bounced out earlier. Felschler ended that at speed, but the point is to Votava's and Rotorama's.
That was some good racing. Actually, in the beginning, both of them were a little bit in trouble. There was a mid-air, actually, at some point. And in the beginning, Votava actually lost his sense of direction.
Yeah.
He had to return across the around the pylon.
Felschler, I think.
No, it was Votava. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Felschler was put off his track because of the mid-air. Great race because Felschler was able to catch a lot of time back on him, but yeah, the distance was too far.
Now, as you mentioned earlier on, Martijn, there are netting above and below the drones here. We've put a net over the whole roof of this massive bull ring. Remember, it's a 24,000-seater bull ring. This is a big place, and the racing circuit that we're racing on these seats is 380 meters long, to give you an idea of what a big venue this is. So there's netting above and below the racing circuit for safety reasons. So there is a restriction on how high and low you can go.
Yeah, there is, definitely. Yeah, with severe consequences, because hitting a net is end of the race.
And quite possibly that drone, depending on where you put it in the net, could be out of the entire day. Our next heat, Lucas Lenversky for Rotorama in red and Maita Maibom in green. Two pilots new this season. Maibom is already, well, he's still in the air. He was being flagged as being out. He got into trouble after clipping a gate. He is still airborne, but he is so far behind. Lenversky through in a time of 15.74. Maibom will clock a time up at some point behind him. But where is Lenversky? 6.66. All those numbers in a bull ring for Maibom, who's on his second lap, while Lenversky is very much near the end of his. I don't think he's going to quite lap Maibom, and I don't think it's ever been done. Maibom goes into the second chicane of the circuit. Lenversky is coming around on his first chicane of lap number 3. That gap between them halved almost. Good work by Maibom, but that clip that he did earlier on has slowed him down. He was a terrifically fast racer on his first work with us in Munich. Lenversky, though, did very well there. 3 wins out of 4 for him, and he'll be clocking up another single heat point, even though Maibom closed that gap dramatically and brings it home. 3.5 seconds ultimately behind him. He caught him on that final closed air gate before that final turn. The gap had really shrunk down, but he caught him by taking a lot of speed into that air gate, and that's why eventually Maibom came in quite a long way behind him.
Definitely. Yeah, this is really a track that is so much more difficult than it seems, because the pilots have almost 0 point of reference, except for the gates. It takes out a lot of the focus and concentrations for the pilots. Actually, we saw both of them having to do turns twice, being unsure where they were navigating. But then again, we have the best pilots in the world. They should be able to handle it.
Sebastian Brandes has plenty of racing experience. He'll be up next in green for Air Carvers Germany, and David Svoboda will be his opponent with 3 wins out of 4 single heats in Munich. Because as I mentioned, they had this brilliant day in Munich. They won our first Drone Prix of the season. The second day just did not work out for them, though. They got into real trouble on day 2. They lost 4-1 to Wildprop in the quarterfinal. The Wildprop team who went out in the quarterfinal on day 1 turned up and came out of day 2 and knocked out Rotorama 4-1. And that was the day 2 after Rotorama had won the whole thing on day one. They couldn't have been in a more confident spirit. Like, we just won this circuit, we'll come back and race it again the next day.
Yeah, what do you think happened? Maybe, I don't know.
Well, Wild Prop turned up, certainly.
Yeah.
But they weren't out of things, you know, they weren't out of sorts or anything on day one. It's tricky to tell, actually. Rotorama were really disappointed.
Yeah, they were. Actually, they changed their entire drone setup. They rebuilt their frame, made it over 100 grams lighter in total. So right now, there's a bottom limit of weight for every drone, which is 780 grams. And they are just clipping the top of that bottom limit. So I think they improved a lot there, making their drones more agile, faster.
Single heat number 3. Svoboda leaves his starting block slightly behind Brandes, and for a change, Brandes will go out of the blocks in the lead and stay there. We've seen a lot of pilots go for that option of leaving the block a little bit later, but then carrying a lot of speed and taking the lead very quickly. Brandes is up front and staying there. Svoboda sees him though. DCL air gate between them both here, and the gap slightly under half a second. This is going to be a deadly good race, I think, all the way around. If Svoboda still features in it, there he is. Brandes still with the better turn of our second chicane. Half a second between them on the end of that lap. They come through that DCL gate round that pylon. Svoboda took that turn very widely and carried loads of speed past Brandes. He's got the lead now as they come round in the middle of lap 2, that second chicane. We'll see Svoboda lead Brandes some more. They go into lap 3. Svoboda takes that turn again very nicely, takes the point for Rotorama after Brandes is out of it before the finish. No heat point, no finisher point for him. He was in the lead for most of it.
Yeah.
And then Svoboda just, how did he take that turn so quickly and take so much of a chunk out of Brandes?
Yeah, he did. You know what happens is all these pilots, they talk to each other. So they're doing some navigation together. And what might have happened is that Brandes just decided to take it a little bit slow because it was on such a big lead on the beginning of the race. He feels bad.
Yeah, you can see on his face things like, that's on me.
Yep. Yep, it is. A lot of experience on Brandes.
Jakob Thoman, brilliant young Czech pilot. 10 wins in the whole of last season in the featured running for Pilot of the Year. He's up against Lucas Wahl, 6 wins of last year's season for him. No wins, though, out in Munich, so he'll look to get one on the board today. Wahl in green, Thoman in red. Thoman is away. Wahl is not featuring. Thoman's got this all to himself. He'll put this lap in for a bit of stick time and to collect a finisher's point later on. Through the second chicane, over the stage, completes lap number 1 in time of 16.67 seconds, and he will carry on lap 2. Where is Wahl? He's still on the starting blocks. He's done. There you go. Look, Thoman's bringing it home, and 4-0 is not a score that Air Carvers Germany want to see. They went out, as I mentioned, in Munich.
Yeah, this is where we see Lucas Wahl trying to get off the starting grid. It seems to be a mechanical problem.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the props wasn't on properly.
Unlikely with these experienced pilots, but yeah, possible.
What could also happen is that one of the motors wasn't working.
Yeah.
And it could be a motor failure. It could also be an ESC failure. ESC is short for electronic speed controller. And that's basically the gearbox of the motors. And on these high-speed tracks, these pilots all have done their qualifying laps. So they had some stick time, as you said. And things can fail.
Now, this is interesting. If Air Carvers Germany can get all 4 points in the big heat, they'll make it 4 all on heat points. Will go to finisher points. And they'll have picked up 4 there as well. So then we'll have to go back and dig through earlier records and numbers in qualifying and stuff like that. So they firstly got to do what, as I mentioned, only one team has ever done. And funnily enough, that team were Flyduino last year, and Brandes and Wahl were on that team at the time. Angelo Feschler also raced for Flyduino KISS Racing in 2017, but he wasn't flying on the day that Brandes and Wahl were part of the Flyduino KISS team to come in first, second, third, and fourth. It's a big challenge, and when you've got a team like Rotorama against you, they've got to not feature in this race. That's the view of the starting blocks of Angelo Felschler.
Yeah, Rotorama was the surprise of last year, but they are proven to be a very, very consistent team.
Oh, yes.
They have Jakub Toman in 7th place of all the qualifiers today. Let's see if he can take this one home.
Pressure is on Aircarvers Germany after 2 quarterfinal defeats, and one of them was to Rotorama in Munich. Up in the air. Vol, no, Vol out of this again. Aircarvers Germany are done here. My bomb is down, Brandes is down. This is a terrible run of luck or mechanical failure or whatever it is for Aircarvers Germany. But Angelo Felschler is out in front, pulled far away now from Svoboda, Toman and Votava. Nearly 2 seconds between him and them, showing what caliber of pilots Aircarvers Germany really do have. Leaving Rotorama a long way behind him, but his teammates didn't even really make it to the first gate here. They're watching him from the stage, goggles off, watching the drones buzzing around here. They'll be back tomorrow. Everybody will be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow. You definitely should come back tomorrow. And Aircarvers Germany will try and make it out of qualifying into this. But Angelo Felschler has decided, rather than going into the crash gate, he'd take a close look at our commentary desk. He's down just above my head, I'm not kidding. And Rotorama are through 7-0. 3 points in that big heat, coming in first, second and third. That was Toman, Svoboda and Votava respectively, after Lukas Lemversky didn't actually finish. So 3 more points there. 7-0. Rotorama wipe out Aircarvers Germany.
Yeah, this is where we see the start of the race. 2 of the drones from the German team hitting the gate. And from that point on, they were out. Great job, though, by Angelo Felschler. Unfortunately, barely making it to the Red Bull crash gate.
That is right above our commentary position.
It is.
If that camera just went down a bit, just down a little bit and right a bit, you'd see us. But let's talk to Jakub Toman on our stage. Congratulations to Jakub Toman and Rotorama. You make it through to our semi-finals after knocking out Aircarvers Germany again. How are you enjoying your racing here in Madrid?
Yeah, this was pretty fun, and it gave us a lot of confidence. Finishing all the single heats is a major plus for us.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, actually, Jakub. You get the heat points for it, you get finisher points, which might count later on in the later stages of this. But as racing goes, as this track goes, you're enjoying this one?
Yeah, it's pretty hard when you crash, but it's really fast, and I'm starting to enjoy it right now.
Struggling to enjoy it right now?
Yeah.
You had Maite Maibaum of Aircarvers Germany ahead of you throughout that big heat. Eventually, he wiped it out, just nearly took us with him. But yeah, racing against him, having him some distance in front of you, what's that like when you've got an opposition drone that you're trying to catch?
For some of our pilots, you get black in front of your eyes, so you really push and crash. But in this situation, we knew we just need to finish second or third, fourth, and we will still go to the semifinals, and that was our plan, and we did that, and it worked out well.
So that shows the strategy that you guys have got in mind. You know you didn't have to win that, you just had to interrupt the top 4.
Yeah, that's it.
Congratulations, Jakub. Congratulations, Rotorama. Commiserations, Aircarvers Germany, who fall to them again.
Thank you.
Interesting. Yeah, when he mentioned crashing is really hard. Crashing is always hard on a pilot, you know, because crashing is just pure evil.
Evil.
But then what he meant is that crashing here is even harder because of the concrete.
Yeah, I mean, you have the damage to think about, right? Not just losing that race, but potentially losing a quad for the whole race meet. 2 more teams are coming. Third in qualifying today, the brilliant China Dragons. We have Bo Chen, Ronnie Chow, Ken Inwei, and Hai Hong Sha. And their opposition. Welcome, the huddled up and ready to fly Swiss Black Kites.
That's what their team is all about.
Yeah.
They are more than just teammates, you know. They are real friends. They fly together a lot.
They said we meet up a lot and we fly together a lot because Switzerland is quite small.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not, I mean, it's not that small. It is a country.
I would, yeah, that was
It's not like,
exactly
oh, yeah, we
what
all
I
live
thought.
in a village together.
No, that's true. But then again, like Danny Pacha, he is from Spain, but he lives 400 kilometers away.
Yeah. Yeah, because places are big.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Dario Neuenschwander joined us for the first time in Munich. His opponents, Bo Chen, joined us for the first time in Munich, along with all of China Dragons. Came third out in Munich, and fourth on the first day and sixth on the second. So didn't pick up any points from the second day. They lost to Rotorama and they lost to Quad Force 1. They were wiped out by both of those teams. But China Dragons put up a good show against Wildprop in Munich. They've done better today in Munich. They were 7th in qualifying on both day 1 and day 2. Here, 3rd in qualifying, so a much stronger performance from these guys.
Yeah, definitely. Fun fact about Dario Neuenschwander. He's not just flying FPV drones, but he also flies FPV airplanes. And actually, he's got a world record in distance.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he managed to fly his airplane FPV for over 35 kilometers of distance. Can you believe that?
On FPV?
On FPV.
Away from him?
Away from him, yeah.
That's crazy.
Super impressive, yeah. They use directional antennas.
Right.
They use very powerful video transmitters, obviously.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how far the technology can bring
35
us.
kilometers.
Yeah.
Wow.
And also, I think it helps that Switzerland isn't that crowded, is it? There's not that much interference.
Is that right? Let us know in the chat if you're with us on YouTube or Facebook on our channels. And if you're from Switzerland, let us know how crowded it is. Can you see 35 kilometers from where you are now? Probably indoors. Stick your head out of a window and let us know. We are the Drone Champions League, live to you on YouTube and Facebook. We're also on Instagram, Drone Champions League, and Drone Champions all on Twitter. Just an L on the end. China Dragons, Bo Chen and Dario Neuenschwander's purple Swiss Black Kites is away from him at the start, but not much in between them. Yes, there is. Bo Chen is just not happening. Dario Neuenschwander is on his way through the Breitling Gate, around onto the other side of the Las Ventas bull ring. Goes into our second chicane very gently, nearly puts it into the bottom net a little bit too gently. Through the DCL gate, just flying, just floating around really. Almost wants to put it back on the starting block and use it again for the big heat, but no, Dario. You want to bring that one around to that big red bull gate at some point. If you feel like getting there today, where is he going? He's just having a little look around, enjoying the view of the gently setting sun here in Madrid. Found his way through a DCL gate. You're going to end this anytime soon, Dario? Don't feel like you have to. Oh, he does. Dario Neuenschwander getting a lot of support from some young members of our audience. Buzzing it around, maybe waving it to them. But where is Bo Chen?
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Because I think he was surprised by the fast launch of his competitor. And then hitting the first corner here and forgetting about the slopey track that we're on.
The slopey track.
Slopey, is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's it. That's sticking. It slopes. It is slopey.
It slopes a lot, right?
Yeah. Well, look at it. I mean, it is a bowl, right? This is where the audience sit for bullfighting, remember? And it's 87 years old, so it is a raked venue. The seating goes up very, very steeply and it is circular. And it is this bowl shape, and you fly around this whole thing anti-clockwise, with the exception of these two chicanes where you have to do this 180-degree switchback. It is tricky, as we are seeing. And as you mentioned correctly, Martijn, harder than it looks when you first see it.
Yeah, it's very tricky. And also, it's not the way all the pilots prepare for racing, because we are used to big fields, we are used to indoor tracks, but we are always used to horizontal a horizontal footprint.
The ground. Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, that's a really valid point. I'd certainly not given a lot of thought to when I'd seen how we were racing here before we came here, that you're a never over level ground. At any time in this venue, you are racing over a bowl the whole way, like a banked racing circuit, like an oval racing circuit with the bank turns at the end, but we don't have the straights in between.
You're absolutely right.
There's a good shot of it, actually. You can see how steep this thing is. Bo Chen doesn't feature for China Dragons in that one. His teammate Ronnie Chow will fancy a go instead. First in the ESPN Drone GP of 2018, first in the Transtech Masters Championship. Picked up a win in single heats, and you might know him as Rondo FPV. But we are having a drone issue, and it does look like Ronnie Chow's drone is missing from that second starting block of the left of your picture. We have this V-shaped set of starting blocks. The slowest drone in qualifying for each team will be on the ones at the widest part of the V, the front of our starting blocks, and the fastest for each team start at the back. Ronnie Chow isn't going to feature in this. So Raphael Stroll for Swiss Black Kites will get his lap in, get a heat point for Swiss Black Kites, a finisher point in the pocket for the team, and those are useful now in case you need them to settle dead heats of semi-finals or finals later on. But Raphael Stroll isn't even going to really make much of a lap. He's not going to get very much stick time in. He's just put it in. Ronnie Chow, that's an easy giveaway of a point.
It is, yeah.
The worst kind.
I wouldn't say giveaway. It's probably not...
Well, when your drone isn't even on a starting block for a race because it's not working, I mean, that's not him choosing to give away that point, certainly.
Exactly.
But that's a simpler point as you can win.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. If I were Stroll, I would just take my time, do the lap.
You'd get some more stick time.
Yeah,
right? You would
exactly.
take some advantage of being here and actually, like this, the pilots haven't had a lot of time on this circuit.
Yeah.
And it's not easy for all the reasons we're explaining, and we'll continue, I'm sure, to point out, although as though you can't even see them. Martin Paresh joins us for Swiss Black Kites. He was with us out in Munich. He was helping the team, but he wasn't flying for them that day. He's flying right here against Ken Inway of China Dragons. Ken's standing up there. Runner in front of him, bowing to him. Filming him, to be honest. There he is. That's Ken, 29-year-old pilot from China. First in the IDRA of Taiwan, first in the Hong Kong airport. First in the China Drone Grand Prix of Shanghai. Semi-finalist out in Vegas with IDRA. Martin Paresh, Swiss pilot, 28 years old. First in the FPV SR 2017. Third in the upgrade race of Switzerland.
And his first time in a knockout race in DCL. When I asked him about his flying style, because I didn't have a chance to see it myself, he said robotic.
Did he?
What does that mean?
I don't know. Tell me, Martin.
Yeah,
what does that mean?
I have absolutely no idea.
Robotic.
Yeah.
Deadly and never makes a mistake. Only turns when he's told to.
Yeah.
Powered by batteries? I don't know.
Autopilot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, robotic.
Yeah, maybe we should talk to another pilot in DCL, Young Rock, who is doing his major in automatically flying drones.
Yes,
maybe
autonomous drones, and there might be a little bit of that featuring later on in our season. Now, there is a red drone, an orange drone, I beg your pardon. That's a China Dragons orange drone for Ken Inway. And one of our starting block runners telling him to spin that up.
10 seconds countdown.
All right, it's Ken Inway against Martin Paresh. No, Martin Paresh's drone is back off of its starting block and being checked back down. Maybe it didn't spin up. They obviously everything gets handed into a pits here. Everything gets checked way before qualifying even begins. All the drones that the teams bring with them are all checked. Then they're placed via a system where they get checked before race time. The pilots bring them to the track, hand them over to our runners. Everything is in full working order. If there is a problem before a race, then the pilots can flag up that, okay, my quad doesn't arm or the props aren't spinning or whatever it is. Looks like we might get a race here, though, between Inway in orange and Paresh in purple. Both away. That's what we like to see. Both still in the air. And it is Inway with the early lead over Paresh in half a second between them. That first chicane turn, though, changes things up quite dramatically, as we keep seeing with the Breitling gates. Through both they go. Paresh takes the lead from Inway, gets a little bit of a slower exit. Inway's with him and takes the lead into lap number 2. 1700ths of a second. This is a race that can go either way unless you are down or into a column, and your name is the robotic Martin Paresh, who has done both of those things. Those white metal pillars around the edge of this 87-year-old arena, he shouldn't be anywhere near those, and instead he has hit one and down next to it. Inway pulls a point back for China Dragons.
Yeah, well done by Inway. He managed to fly his own race, not be bothered by Paresh, who took off in front of him. And this is where we see him going around the...
That's the first of our chicanes, and then, yeah, just...
And hitting the metal...
yeah.
What do we call those things?
Those columns.
Columns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poles.
Poles.
Supporting important pieces of structure.
Yeah.
How many do you need?
Maybe
Can we just go with columns?
Yeah.
Good, columns.
Or steel.
He shouldn't be anywhere near them.
No, he shouldn't.
He basically went into that chicane. It's a 3-point, 3 parts to it. And he forgot the third. Or his drone didn't respond. Hai Hong Sha, 38-year-old pilot from China. First in the X-Flight International Open and fastest in qualifying today for China Dragons, who were third as a head. Third as a team, quite prominently due to Hai Hong Sha being third of all 36 pilots earlier on today. His opponents, first time in the DCL for Yannick Glauser. Welcome Yannick, who was 10th in qualifying today, second in the Swiss Indoor Masters and third in the Swiss Drone Nationals. You might know him as Downwind. Glauser's purple drone will look to take a 3-1 lead into the big heats. But Hai Hong Sha wants to even things up and give us one of those moments we've seen many times, thrilling races in the DCL. It's 2-2 going into a big heat. All you need is the win.
10 seconds countdown.
Sha in orange, Glauser in purple, both at the back of that starting V. Lights now on. There it is for Glauser. Both away, nothing to call between them. Over the over the stage, I beg your pardon. And we're on board with Glauser, who's got Sha to his right. Sha way behind him now. Glauser goes into the second chicane, left, pulls it right, comes through the DCL closed air gate, and then goes around that pylon and takes a left-hand turn, and Sha is 1.18 seconds behind him. But that gap looks like it might change by a bit, and there you go, 9/10. Separate the two on lap 2. Coming into the second chicane, Glauser goes left on the pylon, right into the gate, and Sha is right with him there, but closed it and then lost all his speed on the exit of that gate. Into lap 3 and chicane number 1. We like to see a race go this far. Breitling Gate is big between them. Sha, this is where he pulled it all the way back on him, and he closes some of the distance, but I think Glauser's got too far on him now. Sha has hit the final gate of lap 3 and rolls it into the side of the crash gate. Glauser is going to put it in there. Sha is back in the air, is going to go back through DCL. He's still up. He's brought it home to the crash gate, so that might need to be reviewed to see whether or not he completed that extra bit after lap 3, between lap 3 and the finish. He clips the gate here, Martijn.
Yeah, that's
and
very
a low
unfortunate.
battery warning as well.
Oh yeah, that was popping up all over the last lap. But he was really pushing for it. Sha, a professional car racer actually, who might be one of the few. He might be one of the few pilots that actually have an experience on a slopey track.
Ah,
right?
Yeah, if he's ever done any bank turns and oval racing.
Yeah,
as you can see there, though, by getting it back up in the air, that +1 FP, that's a finisher points for China Dragons. So he was right to recover it and try and get it done. The race is done. Glauser was still in the air. Glauser could have got into trouble. Sha's right to fight it back and get his drone back into the scrap there. A finisher point for him. A useful thing to have. And actually, if I've got this right, there we go, yeah. China Dragons on 8 and Swiss Black Kites on 9 finisher points. So China Dragons, if they can get first and second here, they'll get 2 heat points, it'll be evens, and then finisher points will come into it. that one for Shah could be very, very important indeed. What China Dragons would really like to do is come in first, second, and third and have this done and a semi-final in their hands. So big heat awaits us.
China Dragons were number 3 in qualifying.
Yeah.
And Swiss Black Kites number 6 in qualifying.
And China Dragons have been in a semi-final. They did on the first day out in Munich, whereas Swiss Black Kites went out of their quarterfinals 3-2. They lost to Raiden Racing from Japan, who aren't here after qualifying. And they then lost day 2, 6-1 to Next Blades Racing. So Swiss Black Kites, nothing on the board this season so far. You get 80 points for coming in 5th in a DCL Drone Prix. That's given to the team who got the most points out of all the 4 teams who lose quarterfinals. And Swiss Black Kites, if they lose this, might pick up those 80 points. But at the moment, they're in a very good position to go through to the semi-finals, being 3-1 up.
This is the big team of runners preparing all the drones. It's beautiful out here.
It is, and it is just gone 10 p.m. Here in Madrid, Central European time. Wherever you're joining us and wherever that is on YouTube or Facebook, thank you for joining us. The Drone Champions League, our 3rd race of the 2018 season. We do 2 races in each of our incredible locations. In Munich, we did an evening-night race like you see here. And then on the 2nd day in Munich, we went live in the afternoon. Here in Madrid, we'll do 2 races. Both of them will be at this time of evening and night. 9 p.m. tomorrow is when we'll bring you the other Drone Prix from Munich. China Dragons up, Black Kites up, 8 drones in the air. This is what you get with the DCL, but I see, yeah, a couple of them down. Chow's already out of it, Inway's out of it. Swiss Black Kites, though, don't have the lead. That is Shah's for China Dragons in a time of 14.4. And Neuenschwander and Stroll with the air between them, 2 seconds behind. Shah fighting this thing out where he needs to be. Chen needs to get up the front as well. He's 5 seconds behind him. He needs to come second. A point for Shah will only give 1 to China Dragons and they won't make the semi-finals. Stroll is under review for possibly having gone the wrong way, as is Chen. Both of them still in the air and Neuenschwander between them. Chen has got a lot to do here. Shah needs to get that win. Looks like he can take it. Stroll is in the air. Neuenschwander is out of this, though. If Chen can keep this to the finish and Stroll bites the dust between now and then, Chen might get China through. Stroll has gone way too wide on the finish. He's got to come back around again. Chen is in the air. Stroll, though, is in the finish. What happened in the closing stages of that? Shah looked like he'd got the win, but now he's being flagged up as maybe not even actually getting there. Swiss Black Kites think one way or another they've got it. China Dragons look like they might have taken it from them. They certainly had the lead throughout that, but I think they blew the finish. I think Shah is being recorded as a did not finish. It looks like Shah didn't cross the finishing line.
It looks like it.
Stroll came in at speed and only just got it in there. Let's see that again.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. Awesome start. Hard crash there on the concrete. And this is where we see the finish gate. Let's see what happened. Oh!
He's dropped it out.
He's dropped it out, yeah.
What did he do? Did he try and... How did he do that, Martin? What was he doing? He looked like he was he inverted?
Well, this crash gate is new to everyone because in Munich we had a bigger crash gate. Now they really have to squeeze their quad in between those 2 Red Bulls.
But they know it's like that. They've seen it all day. They've been around this thing. It's not a surprise.
Yeah, but once you know you're up front and once you know you have that lead and you can secure that valuable point for your team, the pressure is on.
That's a really dramatic and disappointing end for Black Dragons there. They had that point in the bag for Haihong Shah. What they needed was a second one behind him. I'm not quite sure they'd have taken it from Stroll. Put up a decent fight to try and get there, though. We'll get Rafael Stroll on stage and have a chat with him after he won that big heat. I think he's ready. Raphael with Swiss Black Kites through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to you. That was a thrilling big heat. You were in second, pretty much behind Ha Hong Sha throughout that. What was going through your mind?
Well, yeah, it was pretty exciting. First, I didn't know actually at which position I was, but then I kind of tried to count it. I did a mistake in the last round. That's why I lost some time, but it was super amazing flying.
That crash gate at the end, our Red Bull crash gate, that is a real challenge for you pilots. You only just got in there.
Yeah, it's a lot smaller than it used to be, but you just have to focus on the upper part and just go through it. It works, but it's kind of harder than it was to.
We saw you featuring last year and doing some great races then. Out in Munich, though, 2 weeks ago. No points for Swiss Black Kites after you crashed out of your quarterfinals. Must feel good to know you've got at least 150 out of today for being in the semis.
Yeah, it's pretty good because we had so bad luck in Munich with a lot of troubles with our copters. They were overheating, and that's why we lost a lot of fights. But now we're super happy to move on to the next round, and we're going to fight.
We'll see more of you later on today. Congratulations, Raphael. Congratulations, Swiss Black Kites. Yeah, that's a good result for them as a team. As you see there, confirmation. Raphael Strahl gets the win. Nearly 3 seconds over Bo Chen, and Hai Hong Sha just dropped out. Not out of the crash gate, out of that race in front of the crash gate. He's going to be kicking himself for that. And China Dragons, we know they're great pilots, and we also know they're not that well known in the Western drone racing community. So they have surprised some people when they were announced as part of this. And we know great things from them. Going to expect to see better stuff as this season progresses. It's good, isn't it, so far, the Drone Champions League? Let's have quarterfinal number 4. The champions of 2017, the reigning world champions, and currently leading for 2018 after our 2 races in Munich, they are Next Blades Racing. Here are their opponents, ready to come onto our stage. And you'll get a lot of support coming onto a stage in Madrid if you are the Spain Drone Team. Welcome to DCL Spain Drone Team. What we've done here is we love to give local pilots a chance in our competition. We did this throughout 2017 by having wildcard teams of local pilots who qualified maybe in local competitions to represent the local area at our tournaments. Here, it is the UK team and the world champions Next Blades Racing who are second in qualifying today. The Spain Drone Team, 7th in qualifying today, but they're not a scratch team that have been formed from local hopefuls. These guys fly together as a brilliant unit, regularly featuring competitions. Here in Madrid, we wanted to give a Spanish team a chance to compete on home soil. And the Spain Drone Team, they're a properly good team and a threat. But they've got a big challenge in a world champion team on the other side of the stage.
Yeah, they probably got the best looking drones out of all of the teams.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, they designed and manufactured it in under a week, which is impressive. This is where we see it.
Yeah, they've got beautiful side canopies as well, protecting the camera systems in between. We're going to see Luke Bannister, famous world champion in his own right, start things off for Next Blades Racing. Wasn't here in Munich, but he joins us today. And his opponent for the first single heat, Carlos J. Gomez Carril of Spain Drone Team. Up into the air, Bannister in the lead in the blue. Gomez Carril is hard into the first crash. I beg your pardon, air gate. He crashes into that and is done. You can see how much the lighting has changed quite dramatically here on course as it is 10 past 10, well, 11 minutes past 10. And Luke Bannister gets heat point number 1 to Next Blades Racing. Gomez Carril was done way too quickly there.
He's got to be happy with that, Luke. Probably one of the most famous pilots in the world. Taking home this easy point. Let's take another look at that crash.
So this is the first gate he reached.
Yeah,
now, I beg your pardon, that gate he's passed, you're meant to pass. That's the end of the lap.
Right.
You pass that as you come out of the stone blocks. You go round that pylon. This is the first gate you have to go through. Gomez Carril hit it in the bottom left-hand corner. Too low, too left.
Yep.
Looked like he was nearly going to bounce through it, to be fair. Number 1 for Next Blades Racing. Heiko Schenk steps up to take the second in his eyes.
10 seconds countdown.
And his opponent, Adrian Lopez Hernandez of the Spain drone team, who featured in TCL last year when we had our races underground in Salina Terra. He was there with Immersion RC. Lopez Hernandez in the white, some way behind Schenk, but there's a 3-lap course here if you can stay in it that long. Unfortunately, it's another one down on the early part of the lap, and Schenk drifts his way into the second chicane. We'll take that on board with him through the gates. Through that one, that's the one you pass at the start of the race, as I mentioned. You have to go through it to complete your lap. Then you go around that pylon and the first air gate of lap 2 and into a crash gate. Only just high and fast into there. Second point for Schenk. Some applause for him, but not as much as if Hernandez had taken it for the Spain drone team.
Yeah, let's take another look at that crash. Hernandez coming in a little bit low. Ooh. Hitting the steel hard.
We're going to see
he's got some
that.
repairing to do.
He's got the pylon. Yeah, again, those are the entries. Those are the walkways into this bowl if you are coming here to sit in the stands. There are white railings over them. They are low, and pilots are flying low.
Yep. Gary Kent getting ready.
Yeah, Justice FPV, you'll know him well, whether you've seen us at the DCL or any other sort of drone racing around the world. He's featured brilliantly in many races. His opponent is this man, Roberto Gomez of the Spain drone team. Gomez against Carril.
We have a problem here. I think Heiko's drone clipped the gate and cut it.
Schenk
has
broken our crash gate.
Yeah, that's what crash gates are for, right?
Well,
it was a samurai move.
He's put a hole in there, and we'll go in the back and get one out of the net. So that is gradually, I mean, it is a bull ring. A gate with Red Bulls on it.
Yeah.
Now that's not supposed to win, right? In a bullfighting ring.
No.
Sometimes the bulls win.
Yeah, you're right.
But that isn't how people usually like those things to go down. If you're into bullfighting, which is the thing you may or may not be into. It's not something I've got any personal experience of
no, me neither, actually.
enjoying or watching. Tell a lie, I've seen some on TV. It has been televised, and I have to admit, I was like, I actually am very curious about this cultural thing, which is important, you know, to the history of Spain, and also, you know, culturally referenced in flamenco and things like that as well, and pasodobles and those kind of things. And yeah, we, however, are going to try and repair some bulls in a bull ring before the next heats can continue. We'll get a pilot and have a quick chat with them while we await this gate to be repaired. We join Luke Bannister live on our stage in his seat after his single heat that he just did. Luke, welcome to DCL for this year. I think he's having trouble hearing us right now. There we go. We have Luke, I think, for Next Blades Racing on stage. Luke, welcome back to the DCL. You joined one race in the 2017 season, and that was the finale out at Station Berlin, where you helped Next Blades Racing become the world champions. But I know your last few months have been busy at the tender age that you are with school.
Yeah, I've been pretty busy with school recently, so I haven't had much time to practice, but getting back into it.
You must have missed drone racing. You are world famous for your exploits and your wins.
Yeah, I've missed it a lot, but I'm glad to be back.
What's it like racing alongside Gary and Brett, who you know well from last year, and having Heiko Schenk join the ranks for this year?
Yeah, it's really awesome to be racing with them. Like, they're all incredible pilots and awesome teammates.
Your first single heat, you get the point there. You had that pretty much to yourselves. What do you think of this circuit so far?
So I didn't hear you.
What do you think of this track so far?
Oh yeah, the track's a lot of fun. Like, it's full throttle, kill your batteries, but it's still a lot of fun.
Kill your batteries? Explain that for people who are a bit less familiar with how this thing works.
Essentially drawing too much power from the batteries too fast, so they get really warm and shortens their lifespan.
We are glad to see you with us after being so well known. What's it like being such a famous drone racer?
Well, I don't know, it's just like, just get on with it.
You're modest about your exploits, Luke. I think that's why so many people like you so much. Coming up to the big heat, though, in this, what's it like for people who've never had that experience of being in a race with 7 other drones all going on at the same time?
The big heat is going to be carnage. There's going to be mid-airs, there's going to be crashes. It's going to be fun, though.
Yes, it is going to be fun, and we will get to that as soon as we can. Thank you for joining us, Luke. We appreciate chatting with you. I wonder if you can pass that microphone along to maybe Heiko Schenk, who's awaiting his. Heiko, sorry for keeping you waiting for this single heat, but how do you feel? How are you ready for this?
Well, I already did my single heat, so next one is Gary.
I beg your pardon. Yeah. You just got that win over Lopez Hernandez. Sorry. What's it like sitting there waiting for the race to happen?
Well, that frequently happens, so it's not just here. That drone racing is a new sport, so sometimes we have issues and we have to wait, so we're used to it.
Gary Kent is next to you, awaiting his single heat. I won't talk to you, Gary. I'm tempted to, but I know you're... Gary, can we talk with you before you get ready for this race? Yeah, let's go with Gary. We'll meet all of them. Next Blades Racing reigning world champions. Gary Kent, hello to you. You've got a single heat ready as soon as we fix what Heiko Schenk just did.
Yeah, just sat here waiting, trying to keep calm and keep focused, really.
Are you focused? Am I interrupting you in a bad way right now?
You're interrupting me a little bit, but I'm going to stay focused.
Good, okay. Give it back to Heiko. I just wanted to say hi to you. Give it back to Heiko Schenk because the gate is getting ready. Heiko, please apologize to the Red Bull gate for breaking it.
Oh, sorry, Red Bull gate.
Thank you, Heiko Schenk. Right, we're done here on stage. That are some of the guys from Next Blades Racing. Thank you to them for leaping in and helping us out right there. They're great guys. We knew they wouldn't mind. All right, crash gate is inflated. Gary Kent wants to see that stay up and to race his way around into that. But on the other side of the stage, Roberto Gomez, second in the Campeonato of Andalusia. Gondi, if you follow your Spanish drone racing, wants to get a point for Spain drone team, who are very much here, as I say, as an invited team, but they can get points for the season. Those pilots can show that, you know, their worth being picked up and featured throughout a global drone racing series like the DCL. They're not here just for exhibition purposes. They want to get some points and some wins.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Look at that beautiful sight of Las Ventas. On the other side from that inflated crash gate are the lit up starting blocks on the left-hand side. Gary Kent's, and slightly below him to the right, Roberto Gomez. These were second in qualifying respectively for each team as we go through the single heats from slowest in qualifying to fastest. Kent in blue, Gomez in white, wants to get further around his course than either of his teammates have done so far, and he'd like to do it in the lead, as he is. Through the DCL gate with 1500ths of a second, Kent passes him on the way through that chicane and exits the Breitling gate in the lead of him. One lap looks like it might be done by both pilots. Kent, though, has Gomez all over him and in the lead of him as they start lap 2. It's one of those tracks that looks like it favours one pilot for the first half and the other for the second. That chicane on board with Gary Kent, passing Gomez as they go around that pylon, and Gomez passes him back again as they go into the other. Lap number 2. Not a lot to call between these pilots. They're both still in the air, which is what we want. First chicane, Gomez now stays in the lead, and Kent is above him, to the side of him, and behind him. Gomez loses it, though, on the entrance to the second chicane of the third lap. Kent is there in the lead now. That timing graphic doesn't seem to be right. Gomez is out. Kent is home. The gate stays up. Gomez does not stay low. Gomez is done there. Roberto with him all the way through in the lead for most of it, but on the floor at the end of lap 3.
Yeah, that was some super impressive racing by Roberto Gomez. He's a relatively unknown pilot to the big public. And he really had made Gary Kent fight hard there for the victory.
It looks a little bit like he said, well, anything you can do next Blades Racing, I can do as well. You want to break a crash gate? I want a bigger one.
Yeah.
There he is, just disappearing out of picture.
Yeah, that's where we see him clip the gate.
Clip it. He's put a great big hole in that, and they are not easy to break. I know that's 2 inflatable gates that have been broken in quick succession. We'll need to get Roberto to say sorry to that one. I know that's 2 gates we've hit and 2 gates that have gone down in succession. Martijn, they are not fragile gates. Those things are not paper thin by any means.
They're not.
These pilots are hitting them hard and at speed.
Yeah, I think they're reinforced nylon gates actually, and they can take quite the hit.
They need to, as you can see. It's not uncommon to see a drone clip a gate.
No.
But you can tell how hard these pilots are trying to win when they are putting holes in them like that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And this was, I think, one of the most high-speed races we've seen thus far.
It's really good to see a team like Spain Drone Team want to get that point on the board. Let us know what you think of the Drone Champions League. Hashtag DCL18 if you're joining us on Instagram at the Drone Champions League. Hashtag DCL18. We are, of course, always live as well on Facebook.com/Drone Champions League with behind-the-scenes footage of how we prepare the races and interviews with pilots and things like that. You can also check out more content on YouTube.com/Drone Champions League, where we are also live. Good evening to everybody who's joining us on Facebook or YouTube. I see you're coming in with your advice that we should put some duct tape on that gate. Yeah, trust me, that's going to happen. And Drone Champions L, don't miss that. We're also on Twitter, Drone Champions L.
I see someone actually on the live stream in the chat
Radu,
recommending us to make iron gates.
Iron gates. And here's an excellent question from yours. What's the rule on the other pilots hitting a falling gate? Can you go around it while it's halfway down or what? If a gate is broken, then pretty much the race is usually done at that point. If it's on the 3rd lap and they're past that gate, then obviously there's no need for that race to be called out. If it's going to affect the actual racing line and so on, then I think a rerun would probably get called, unless it hasn't affected, the racing outcome. Hi, Drobot Racer. Drobot Racer, what are you doing on there? Good to have you back with us. That is our young friends from World Prop. We're loving having you watching in this thing. What do you think of your teammates? Drobot Racer, Ashton Gamble from the States, who he got a couple of wins. He got 2 out of 3 in his single heats out in Munich. Yeah, welcome, Drobot. I'm glad that you're joining us. Can't be out here racing with us, but good to see you joining us here on YouTube, I guess, from the States. I guess you're back there. Vince Irie, you raced last year. Hello to you as well. Matthew Evans, yes, I have been told that sometime. I actually commentate and host esports events all over the world. I know Red Eye, I've worked with him, but we are not the same man. But yes, he's a good guy, and we know each other pretty well. And yeah, you're not the first to say that.
Vince Irie, actually, my teammate from the Netherlands.
Oh, yeah.
He wants me to do a shout out to my team. Shall I do it?
Well, why not?
Team SQG.
Now, hang on, who are they?
We are a group of friends flying a lot together.
Matthew, I think there are other conclusions as to why we sound alike, other than we must be related. Usually you derive ideas of whether or not 2 people are related by whether or not they have the same name. That's usually a more common way I'd go for it. Not the only way, I grant you, but having the same voice, I don't know. Can we see some more FPV footage of that race? I think we will bring you plenty of FPV footage as we go through the rest of this race. Thank you to everybody who's joining us wherever you are on YouTube. Russia, hi from Russia. Hi to you. We would love to bring a drone race to Russia. I know Moscow was considered earlier on this year. I've had the pleasure of working in Moscow a couple of times. An incredible, legendary city. You imagine doing a race somewhere like Moscow and the sight you would see. Let's, however, concentrate more here on Madrid. And Sunday, do you remember that? That wasn't actually my first introduction to drone racing, but I'm very glad you remember that for Watch Dogs on YouTube. Yeah, we had some fun there. Here in Madrid, our gate is back. Matthew Evans, yeah, that'll be it. How are you? And why haven't you sent me birthday presents for years? Let's have a race. Let's get back live to you from Madrid. Keep the chat coming. We're loving having you with us on YouTube and Facebook, and wherever you're joining us on TV live as well. 10:30 at night here in Madrid, and 3-0 to the good Next Blades Racing. If you want a pilot to look to make that 4-0, you could do far worse than Brett Collis, who is here for Next Blades Racing on the right of your picture. Pilot of the year last year after getting 13 wins, 13 points, more than anybody else got for their teams in the Drone Champions League. On the other side of the fridge, Arturo Dinero Rivera. Dinero Rivera of Spain Drone Team. He's got a big race ahead of him against Brett Collis, and 1.21 seconds is a safe margin between them as these two drones look to get all the way to the end. Collis comes slowly into that second chicane, maybe realizing that that gap is plentiful between him and Dinero Rivera, but half a second now. However, a big bang on the wall and a big groan around the arena. Dinero Rivera is out, and Brett Collis will gently take us on a tour of Las Ventas as he glides through the DCL gate there. Has a look at the crash gate. Does he want to go in yet? Well, no, you do have to go around that pylon and that gate first. Well done, Brett. And then you can just swing us over there. Is our we are on the bottom right of the picture. Hi, everybody. Brett is in.
Ah, he went in with a flip. I like it.
Yeah, a little trick finish. Kept us waiting for it, made it count when he got there in more ways than one. Brett Collis puts Next Blades Racing all but in the semi-final.
Yeah, this is where we see Rivera just hitting the bottom of that gate.
It's almost like who's going, you think you fixed that, do you?
Yeah, I think the gates aren't having the best of days, are they?
That one's still
taking
standing.
Absolute beating, yeah.
We'll need to keep track of how many times the gates get hit and stay standing, and we'll give them points. And talking of points, yeah, this is done. Spain Drone Team won't be in the semi-finals, as I mentioned. Next Blades Racing definitely will be now. Spain Drone Team come in first, second, third, and fourth in this big heat. 4 points to theirs. Equal on heat points. They just can't catch Next Blades Racing, who already have a 5 finishing point lead.
Yep. Last year's winners, last year's champions, and Munich, day 2.
Yeah, this season currently in the lead. 450 points in the bag already for 2018 for Next Blades Racing, after getting 250 for the win in Munich and 200 for third place on day 1. The Spain Drone Team, they're here in the heart of Madrid, the capital of Spain, with a lot of support from this brilliant audience who are here live in Las Ventas. They'll want a big heat point. They'll want to win in front of this crowd.
Oh, yeah.
And, as I keep mentioning, more of this again tomorrow, live to you, 9 p.m. Central European time. We'll do the whole thing again. Qualifying will happen again earlier on in the day. 8 teams will make it through to the quarterfinals. Maybe Raiden Racing will be one of them. Maybe, one of these teams might not be. One team will be 9th and won't make it into the quarterfinals. And the other 8 teams, seeding can be completely different. We know everybody kind of improves on day 2, but some more than others.
Oh, yeah.
Seeding is never the same on day 2 as it is day 1. The teams will swap around. The quarterfinals will feature some different races. Spain Drone Team will get another bite at it tomorrow. But here, their white drones are all up in the air, just about. But it is Bannister out in front, Kent behind him, and Gomez is now in the lead. Bannister and Kent, did they wipe each other out? Gomez has got the lead, but Heiko Schenk is in the midst, as is Brett Collis. Lopez Hernandez hangs on to third. Gomez hangs on to the lead. Gomez will want this. As we mentioned, Brett Collis looks to fight in from him and pulls away somewhat quickly, rapidly increasing a lead over Gomez there into the second chicane. Gomez has got white drones behind him, side him, and in front of him now. Collis got into all sorts of slow exit trouble. He comes out onto lap 3 into the first chicane. He's got the lead back again. How did Spain drone team with their white drones take that lead from him and lose it again. I think it's because Collis gave it to them and took it back. He's done though. Schenk is still up there. Spain drone team still in this. The final turn is going to make it count. This Red Bull crash gate is going to take a beating from someone. Schenk is inside it this time. And where are all the white drones at the finish? One of them is a long way behind. Gomez, who was in the lead, is going to at least finish for Spain drone team. He's completed all his laps now. He swings it high. He brings it into the crash gate. He's got to finish a point, but that is worthless now as they are all packed out of today.
Yeah. Both teams out of the starting grid very, very fast. And I believe you're absolutely right. Luke Bannister and Gary Kent had a mid-air collision, taking each other out. That's unfortunate, but luckily they have a team that's just built of champions. And Heiko Schenk managed to take home the victory for their team, making it 5-0. And improving to the semifinals.
Yeah, Brett Collis will be on our stage. We will, I think, grab a chat with him. You know what? Those big applause from the audience here on their feet for Next Blades Racing. They are the reigning world champions. But I'll tell you what also I think is going on there. I think Next Blades Racing were leading the applause as Spain drone team